For more on this, let's bring in Trita Parsi. He is Executive Vice President of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. Thank you so much for joining us again, Trita.
Thank you.
Well, as we mentioned, several countries are offering to resume aid, but with a big caveat here, transparency on the part of the UNRWA. Do you think UNRWA will actually take concrete steps to do that?
I think the fundamental problem has not been with UNRWA. The fundamental problem has been that several of these countries cut aid to a UN agency without any clear evidence provided by the Israelis. They took whatever the Israelis were saying at face value, and later on it's proven to not be true, or at least Israel has failed to prove its allegations. Moreover, if there is a small number of individuals that may have had any connection to it, that is not the responsibility of UNRWA, and punishing UNRWA that is providing so much aid for a Palestinian population that currently is being forcibly starved is completely immoral. So it is these Western and Western-aligned countries that have committed the big mistake of actually accepting Israel's accusations at face value rather than actually having an investigation done. Compare that to when there are accusations against Israel, in which all of these different countries go to great lengths saying that nothing is known or proven until all evidence have been reviewed. They did not follow that at all when it came to UNRWA.
To your point, there are investigations going on as to whether Israel's claims are substantiated. So is there any indication of how those investigations are going?
Not so far that we can, draw any clear conclusions from. But those investigations obviously need to be done. But there also needs to be a consequence, not only for Israel if it is throwing out a large number of false accusations, which it has done so far, but also consequences for countries that are cutting money to aid organizations in the middle of a war, in the middle of a famine, based on nothing but accusations. There has to be consequences, not just for UNRWA, in case any of these accusations are proven true, which would not have to mean that, it's not UNRWA's responsibility if one or a handful of more than tens of thousands of employees for UNRWA may have had any connection. It's whether the organization as a whole has had any systematic involvement, and there's absolutely no evidence for that. And in the absence of that, to cut the aid to the UN agency and all of the people that it is helping is really unconscionable, and there has to be consequences for countries behaving in such a rash way.
Yeah, UNRWA chiefs say the agency can still stay afloat until the end of May, which isn't that far away, just a few months. So it seems like the future of UNRWA is still very much in the air. What do you make of all that?
UNRWA has had problems for quite some time because the Israelis have systematically tried to get the organization and the UN agency dismantled altogether. The fact that it is dealing with Palestinian refugees is a problem for the right-wing government in Israel because it recognizes the existence of Palestinian refugees. And if they are refugees, the question is then also raised, when will they have the right to return to where they have fled from, which is historic Palestine? This is part of the reason why the Israelis, for a very long period of time, long before October 7th, have waged a campaign to get the agency canceled. And they had significant success during the Trump years, incidentally, in which the United States took several steps to reduce support and aid to UNRWA.
UNRWA, as you know, is the largest humanitarian body in Gaza, provides lots of services for Palestinians there. If it's not able to survive, what will that mean for Palestinians there? And will other agencies be able to fill the void in providing this very crucial assistance to that region?
It will be extremely difficult for other agencies to come in and fill that void, mindful of the fact that it is the largest one, it is a UN agency, it has the structures in place. And to cut funding to it or to try to replace it in the midst of a famine, a forced famine that is taking place, will only serve the interest of the right-wing government in Israel that wants to intensify the suffering of the Palestinians who have systematically pursued that path.
Trita Parsi, always good to have your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.